this is how the fireplace is starting off, and don't get me wrong, it is beautiful, but it is just not my style. I know that a lot of people love the wood, but for me, it felt, I don't know, it just felt like a cabin in the woods on like a ski chalet. Like it didn't feel like a lake house to me. It felt too heavy for a lake house, which is going to be ironic considering the material that we're about to use, which is cement. Yeah, I know that this is going to be controversial, but we'll get into that a little bit later. First, let's just talk through it. So I am using Henry Feather Finish, and I'm mixing it up with a bit that I got to put on my drill just to make it a little easier on my arms, and Dustin's covering the top up because this stuff dries fast. Now, did I realize how fast this stuff was gonna dry? Absolutely not. And are there still holes from where we took out the beams in the wall? Yes, there are, because I have not patched them yet, because frankly, I don't feel like it. I'll get to it eventually. But I'm going over with a thin layer of the concrete mixture. Now, one thing to note is because it was drying really fast, also my camera died, and this is from a live stream, so I'm sorry that this is kind of a crappy video quality, but it's all I had, and I felt like you guys still needed to see it. We kept kind of adding water, and that was definitely not it. You can very clearly tell where one batch of cement meets another batch of cement, and it dried like that, unfortunately. So, and once I got to the bottom, you can see I kind of was able to just scrape some of it right off on this last piece because I had added way too much water. So this is a lot of trial and error, so just bear with me. But now I'm going over it with a pre-mixed concrete. This is a Henry floor patch, and it was definitely a lot more consistent and a little bit thicker than when I was mixing the feather finish myself. If I could go back, I would start fully over, and I would have portioned out the Henry feather finish into a lot smaller batches, and I wouldn't have used this, although I think this premix did let me get the vision that I wanted in the end, but it's a lot more expensive, and I end up using feather finish again at the end, so just bear that in mind if you are going to be doing something like this to your fireplace. Now, I absolutely just loved the color that it was going on, because it felt very like earthy cement, like rock-like to me. But as you can see, it's drying a little bit beige. Yikes. But we're going to get to that at the end. I was like, you know what? It still needs time to dry. So we went back and we did the top portion, and I'm just doing super thin layers. So it's not super heavy. Now, I would like to get into something that I just want to put out as a disclaimer on this video, so let's talk about it. You may or may not have noticed that my upload schedule has been a little crazy, and I want to be honest, it's because I really haven't been in the best place mentally. This project really took a toll on me, and I kind of wish that I hadn't put it out on the internet before I was finished with it, because I put it on TikTok before I put it here, and I was met with a lot of really mean comments and really mean direct messages. And I know that this isn't going to be everybody's style, and a lot of people were mad that I covered up the wood, but at the end of the day, it is my house, and I am making it how I want, and I know that my style is not going to be the same as everybody's style, but I just ask that even if you don't like what I'm doing here, just please be respectful about it in the comments, because I am a real person behind the screen, and I am not a professional, and I do a lot of trial and error, and I make mistakes. Not even saying that this is a mistake, but you know, I'm learning along the way, and it is just really hard when you're in the middle of a project and it's not really turning out how you want, but you still believe in the end goal and you just have a bunch of people online telling you that you're really dumb. It's a hard place to be, and I just kind of needed to take some days away to get myself right mentally, and that's kind of why I haven't posted in a little bit longer than normal. This concrete, the premixed one, is coming out very much beige. You can see I ran out up here. Okay, so I've gone over with one layer of the premixed concrete. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to go back to the feather finish and try my best to make that work, because I don't like this color at all. We're getting somewhere, but we're not there yet. I need to just mix in smaller batches and make sure that I'm putting the exact same amount of powder and the exact same amount of water in with those mixes, and that should give me a pretty even finish all over. So we're gonna try that with just the bottom part first, because I did cover the entire bottom part with this already. Obviously still gotta go back up there, but we're gonna see how that turns out. So sorry, I wanted to still keep that clip in even though I was in the middle of kind of saying something kind of serious, but I just want to use this as a reminder to say that your home and your space is a reflection of you and how you want to feel, and it's okay if other people don't like it, because at the end of the day, if you love it and if it makes you feel good, even if maybe it's not the trendiest style or other people think it's ugly, I just encourage you to just keep doing what you want to do inside your own home, because at the end of the day, you pay for it and you have to live in it. So I really am trying to learn that other people's opinions of me and my house, even though I put it out on the internet, are none of my business. And yeah, I don't know. So that was kind of sad. But anyway, as you could see there, I was measuring out into smaller buckets the same amount of powder. I wasn't mixing all of them at once though. I'm adding the water once I get to the end of another bucket, if that makes sense, because if I would have just mixed all the smaller buckets, they would have dried out before I even got through using the first one. So I was able to use one entire bucket on the right column, and then you'll see here I was able to use another whole bucket on the left column, and that really helped me keep the color consistency a lot better. So that part was a thumbs up. Y'all, this middle part though, it is huge. So this is either a 14 or a 15-foot fireplace. For context, I'm like 4'9". Might be giving myself an inch there, but just let me have it, okay? So this top portion is really a lot. And in the first batch, I tried to mix a batch that would cover this whole thing. The issue is it all dries so quickly that there was no doing that. I would have to have like the largest scraper in America, and I probably could have figured out how to do it, but logistically it just wasn't going to work out. So I did have to use I think it was like 4 or 5 smaller buckets. Now the issue with that is you can see, even before it has dried, you can definitely see where one batch starts and another one stops. And as I was getting it, the end of one batch, it would be like kind of dry, and then I would meet it with, you know, the super not firm, more wet version of the cement. And just wait until you see how it dried. But I was feeling confident at this point because we were getting more of the look that I wanted. And then it dried like this, super patchy. So that's where we're gonna leave off today. Make sure that you subscribe so you can see how I fully transformed it, even with all the troubles. Bye, guys.